Whoops. Welcome to the Daily Fantasy 5. This is our episode for Tuesday. It is June 18th, and this is episode 120. And today we will be talking about the 5 things you need to know in the world of fantasy sports. All right, as always, we are brought to you by mathradio.com, where you can pick up an online math course for your child ages 7 through 17 for as little as $9.99 to help them get better grades, score higher on exams, and even get into college. That is mathradio.com. All right. In today's show, we are going to be talking about the Houston Rangers, the Texas Rangers, Hunter Pence joining Joey Gallo on the injured list. We're also going to talk about second round running backs number 2s that we'd be happy with. We're doing running backs 17 through 14 today. So let's start off with baseball, and we're going to talk about the Texas Rangers. Hunter Pence is joining outfielder Joey Gallo on the injured list. Willie Calhoun has been activated. He's only played 7 games this year. But he had a hot start. He was batting .385 with 2 home runs when he went on to the injured list himself in 26 at-bats. So he'll be back in the lineup perhaps today, and we'll see what happens to the Rangers as their outfield continues to be shaken up. All right, that's it for the news of the day. We're going to break down the running back 2s. All 4 of these players, my running backs 17 through 14, are running backs that I'd be perfectly happy to have as my running back number 2. We're going to start with number 17, Phillip Lindsay. Last year, he finished 12th among fantasy running backs. The Broncos look like a team that will depend on their defense and running game. New quarterback Joe Flacco should be more than happy to hand the ball off to Lindsay and throw him the ball out of the backfield. Even with Freeman on the squad, Lindsay is still RB1 in Denver. The risk with Lindsay is obviously an injury history and a lack of passing targets. He only had 47 last year. And opposing defenses might be stacking the box against a weak passing team led by Joe Flacco. So that is running back 17 on my list, Phillip Lindsay. I'd be perfectly happy to have him as my RB2. Number 16 on my list is Mark Ingram. He is now a Baltimore Raven. He finished 29th for the New Orleans Saints last year. I'm a lot higher on Ingram than most are, I admit it. I like the situation and the player. The Ravens will continue to run the ball this year. I expect them to rush more often than any team in the league, and Ingram is the league back in that system. I'm projecting Ingram to finish somewhere between his 2017 and 2018 seasons. That would give him about 190 rushing attempts, 900 yards, 9 touchdowns on the ground. And despite only catching 21 balls last year, Ingram averaged 50 receptions the previous 3 seasons, so I expect him to catch the ball out of the backfield as well. I think the Ravens will be doing a lot of dump-off passes, and I think Ingram will benefit from that as well. So I like Ingram as my RB2, number 16 on my list. Running back number 15 is Chris Carson. He also finished 15th among fantasy runners last year. The Seattle product, he was great down the stretch for the Seahawks last year, and fantasy owners as well. Loved him. He would be higher on this list, but he simply isn't a part of the passing game, which significantly lowers his floor. He only accounted for 20 receptions on 24 targets in 2018. The other problem is his injury history. Seattle is committed to the run game, and Carson should get the majority of touches, even with former first-round pick Penny still on the roster. So even with all the questions that surround Chris Carson, I think he's reliable enough to have as my RB2 and rank 15 on my list. Number 14, I have a little bit lower than most people. That's Joe Mixon. He finished 9th last year, but with a new regime in Cincinnati, it could be a good thing for Mixon, but the Bengals also drafted 2 running backs this year, albeit both in the 6th round. The O-line was bad last year and should continue to be that way unless the rookies make a big impact. Mixon only saw 55 targets last year. While I expect that number might increase, I also expect his carries to be limited since they will often be behind with a defense that's struggling and a quarterback that isn't very good. So despite all the upside of Joe Mixon, I'm going to be perfectly happy with him as my RB2. I would not feel comfortable if he was my running back number 1. So that is Joe Mixon at number 14. Those are my running backs 14 through 17. On tomorrow's show, we will, of course, cover all of the news in fantasy sports, and we'll be doing my high upside picks. Those are picks number 10 through 13 for my running back rankings. We will see you tomorrow. We'll be bringing you all the fantasy news you need. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, please give us a 5-star rating and a review. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the show and leave us a comment, and visit our website, www.methradio.com. All right. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.